is CNN Breaking News.
A big welcome to our viewers here in the US and those of you tuned in around the world. I'm Errol Barnett. We want to get right to our breaking news in the United States and a chaotic scene in the state of Nevada. Take a look at this. Police say a woman ran down dozens of pedestrians with a car on the Las Vegas Strip. At least one person was killed, 36 more were injured, and 6 of those are in critical condition at this hour. Now, we understand that police have the driver in custody. They say it's not clear whether she acted deliberately. Right now, though, they are not calling this an act of terrorism. They also say a 3-year-old was in the car when all of this unfolded, but that child was not hurt. Now, just last hour, Las Vegas authorities held a press conference with the latest details on this investigation. Here's some of what was said.
The two ways we're looking at this, and we're looking at our investigation twofold, is number one, was this an intentional act? Or number two, was this an accident? Due to the area we're in with numerous cameras belonging to the hotel, surveillance cameras, and our regional, our RTC cameras, we will comb through that footage to get a detailed idea of what occurred. Right now, from what we know, we're looking at it as possibly being intentional. We just received that information. So that is just the initial word we've gotten, the way we're looking, but we're going to look at all angles. Our fatal detail and our homicide detail are working together like they do on numerous investigations to make sure this is done right and we leave no stone unturned. We do know that there was a toddler in the vehicle with the driver who's 3 years old, and that toddler is unharmed. And that driver is being detained. And like I've said, we're still conducting our investigation and trying to figure out how and why this occurred. Our initial investigation shows that there were 2 areas where pedestrians were hit on 2 separate parts of the sidewalk. So it was prior to the driveway that leads into the Paris in front of Planet Hollywood, and then over in front of the Paris. So we had 2 separate locations where the vehicle did go down into the roadway and come back up onto the sidewalk.
So that's the latest information as of this hour. Local officials may hold another press conference here in the next few hours. When that takes place, we will bring it to you live. But at this point, let's go ahead and speak to an eyewitness who saw this all unfold as you look at live pictures of Las Vegas as it just passes 11 p.m. there. Sophie Kitterod joins us on the phone. And Sophie, I understand you saw this as it all unfolded. Just explain to us how it happened.
We were on the other side of the road watching a show at the Bellagio Hotel. We didn't actually see the hit, but we heard people started screaming and people started running back and forth, panicking. And then we turned around and we saw a lot of people laying in the street. A lot of them were badly injured.
Now, this happened at approximately 6:40 in the evening local time. We're told that emergency officials were quick to get there on the scene, but there was some confusion as to exactly what happened. We now know that this female driver hit people in 2 locations. Is it your understanding that she was able to drive and hit people on one part of the Vegas Strip and then made an attempt to hit more?
We were on the other side, and we saw people people laying in the street on both in front of Planet Hollywood and also in front of Paris. So it seems like she hit them on 2 separate places, yes.
And it sounds like there was just so much panic when this happened. One witness telling us he was able to see a child in the car. The police are confirming that it was a 3-year-old. Just tell us more about, after the incident took place, what people were saying about the suspect, the woman in the car.
At first, we didn't know what happened. There was a lot of rumors. People were talking about a drunk driver. There was also rumors that it started with a shooting inside the Planet Hollywood. So it got really chaotic. People were starting rumors about what happened. Then we got on social media to see what actually happened, and we saw that media reported that it probably was one person that drove into the people standing on the sidewalk.
And just tell me how this has been for you when you see an incident like this on an iconic place like the Vegas Strip. Of course, it's frightening. Are you visiting Vegas at the moment? Are you a local resident? And how is this incident likely to change your plans there?
We are going to leave Vegas tomorrow, so it's not going to change our plans. But of course, it's scary being here because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if it was a terrorist attack or what was happening. So it was really scary at the moment.
Yeah, I can just imagine. And just so our viewers are up to date, they do not believe that this was an act of terrorism at all. They're pursuing the possibility that this woman did this on purpose simply because the victims were found in 2 locations. An eyewitness to all of it there, Sophie Kisherod, speaking to us on the phone from Las Vegas. Sophie, I appreciate that and giving us some insight into this. And of course, because this is still so fresh, investigators are still trying to piece together exactly what took place. They are, at this moment, gathering witness testimony. And early, some people who were there described exactly what they saw. Take a look.
I saw the car up on the sidewalk coming towards us, and there was a lady in it, an African-American lady, and it looked like she wasn't even trying to stop the car. She had both of her hands on the wheel and was looking straight forward, and there were men running after her trying to stop the vehicle, and they couldn't get to her. They were yelling, "Stop, stop," and she just wasn't trying.
The car rolled right in front of me. By the time I looked over to the right, all you can see her is driving away, and people are bouncing off the front of the car, and you can hear it. The windshield was smashed at this point, and she rode the sidewalk. She came to a stop right here at the Paris intersection, and then people were punching the window trying to get apparently a child out of the back seat, and she accelerated again and just kept mowing everyone down.
It seems as though people didn't even have enough time to react. We want to go now to our CNN affiliate, KTNV in Las Vegas. Reporter Masa Saidi has more from the scene.
One of the big things that we got from that press conference is officials do not believe that this was an act of terrorism. This was not an act of terrorism, but they do believe that possibly this woman went onto that sidewalk intentionally. We also did get confirmed a lot of the details we've been hearing from witnesses all along. We do want to just show you the view here. The street is still closed off. Police did confirm that a 3-year-old toddler was in the car with the driver that is being questioned right now. They tell us the toddler was not hurt, but as we've been saying all night long, 36 others were, 6 in critical condition. Police, Barry's going to show you kind of where this happened from far away, but the woman was going down Las Vegas Boulevard right here, and police did just confirm that the pedestrians were hit in 2 separate locations. We did hear from a witness who says the woman got onto the sidewalk, got off, sped up, hit more people, and that's the majority of where the people were hurt. Police could not confirm that she sped up, but they did confirm that she hit pedestrians in 2 different groups and that she got off the sidewalk and went back onto the sidewalk. A lot of surveillance cameras. Police are combing through that right now. They have spoken with 20 witnesses, but as you said, they are looking for more witnesses. If you did see anything, they tell me they're going to be on the strip throughout the night. They want to hear from you. And we did try to get a little bit more details about the driver. We're told simply that she just was not from here. No description, no age. We don't know if the toddler was her child or not, but we're told that possibly she was here for about a week, maybe longer.
All right, that was KTNV's Masa Saidi reporting. We understand that part of the Las Vegas Strip is still closed at this hour. And as I mentioned, we may get another press update from officials in the coming hours. When that happens, we will bring it to you live. We will, of course, continue to track this story. But for the moment, we want to bring you other major stories we're following. We want to get you live to Las Vegas now, where officials are again speaking to reporters with an update on the incident there. Let's listen in.
Victims that were injured during this accident, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families. What we do know right now, again, is we have determined that this is an intentional act. That means that our LVMPD homicide section will be handling the investigation. So I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Dan McGrath, who oversees that section, and he'll have more detailed information.
Hi, it's Dan, DAN McGrath, MC, GRATH. have at this point is we have a black female in her 20s with a child in the car, 3 years old. She was driving a 1996 Oldsmobile four-door vehicle with Oregon plates. She went up off the street onto the sidewalk 2 or possibly 3 times. And based on the evidence and information from our fatal investigators, at this point we are treating this as an intentional act. She is in the detention center right now. She's speaking to detectives. They're drawing her blood, and she will be, I expect her to be charged in a few hours.
You know what those charges will be? That's it, folks. We will have a press briefing tomorrow with the sheriff, and we'll give you guys an updated time and location with that tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
All right, a very brief press update there from Lieutenant Dan McGrath and Brett Zimmerman, but an important one. They have now determined that this was an intentional act and will be investigated as such. They also went on to explain who the suspect is behind all of this. A black female, they said, in her 20s with her 3-year-old child in the vehicle. That car was an Oldsmobile, and as Lieutenant Dan McGrath said there, it moved and drove onto a sidewalk some 2 or 3 times. We know that as a result of that, 1 person has been killed and several others are in critical condition, with more being injured. Lieutenant Dan McGrath also saying that she will be charged here in the next few hours. So that information just coming in to CNN after that press update. I think Lieutenant Dan McGrath is still speaking to reporters. If that's the case, can we listen in?
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we just caught the tail end of all of that. We'll still continue to watch updates out of Las Vegas, but of course, this is a key location for people to spend their time and weekends. And as we heard from an eyewitness at the top of this hour, there was panic in the streets and really bodies everywhere as people tried to pull together what happened. And it appears this woman intentionally drove her vehicle into a crowd. We'll keep following this story for you.
This is CNN Breaking News.
I'm Errol Barnett at CNN Center. Thanks for staying with us. A large portion of the Las Vegas Strip remains closed at this hour as investigators try and figure out why a female driver ran down 37 people on the sidewalk. Police moments ago confirmed the driver acted deliberately. 1 person has been confirmed dead and 6 people are critically injured at this hour. We now want to bring in our affiliate station, KTNV, and reporter Brian Callahan. He is live on the scene there in Vegas. Brian, I understand parts of the Vegas Strip are still closed. We just heard an update from officials moments ago, so bring us up to speed on what the latest information is.
Yeah, the strip remains closed. We're actually about 3/4 mile off the strip. This is the area where the driver's car is and where she was arrested. The car is actually sitting about 100 feet to my left here. You can't see it through these bushes. We got some shots of it earlier. The windshield is badly damaged. The rear view mirror on the passenger side torn off. There's been some detectives going over, taking a look at that car at this point. Talked to a witness here at this casino that was checking in. He said when he arrived to try and check in, he saw 6 or 7 officers running towards the entrance. Then he saw the woman in handcuffs. He actually saw that small 3-year-old child, police say, was in the back of the car when she went up on the sidewalk, not once, but twice, intentionally, according to police tonight. They say the car did have out-of-state plates, still trying to determine if she was drunk or on drugs at this point. We're told blood was drawn from her at the detention center, so officers can try and determine that. Officers have ruled out terrorism, but they have said that this was an intentional act at this point. Strip likely to remain closed for several hours for most of the night in that area. As I said, we're about 3/4 of a mile away from it here. You can see the Flamingo over there in the distance. It is actually where the accident happened over there. We are told this car was a 96 Oldsmobile. Again, an intentional act here. This casino remains blocked off largely. We are being told some of the guests are still being allowed to come and go, but this entrance where the car is located is closed off at this point as police continue their investigation tonight. Brian Callahan reporting live in Las Vegas.
And Brian, just one other quick question. Now that the suspect is in custody, one of the officials a few moments ago said that she will be charged here in the next few hours. Do we know specifically with what?
We don't know exactly what she will be charged with. There's going to be a lot of charges here. We do know she's at the detention center. Typically, those charges won't be filed until Monday morning when they'll have a court hearing. Las Vegas courts typically have a 48-hour hearing, and then most of the time the suspect isn't in court for that hearing. They're in court at the 72-hour hearing, which I would expect to be late Tuesday, early Wednesday morning for her to be in court to face these charges. I haven't been able to talk to any prosecutors tonight about what she would be facing, but with police saying it was an intentional act, the Las Vegas police are looking out here, have homicide detectives on scene, so are thinking that is a good possibility.
Absolutely frightening, and the fact that her 3-year-old child was in the car is quite unnerving as well. Brian, we appreciate your update. That's a report of our affiliate KTNV there, speaking to us live from Las Vegas. We'll continue to track this breaking story.